Project list. This is where you can create, view, and manage the project list on our software. The project list is at the heart of the project app. Both the project calendar and project dashboard need data from the project list to populate. To create a new project, click the Create button at the top of the page. You will be routed to a different page where you can enter the project information. Enter the title of the project. Select the client for the project from the drop-down menu. If you have not yet entered the client into the system, you can use this button at the top to enter a new client. Enter the company name for the new client. Enter the email address for the new client, making sure that it is correct. Enter the phone number. Select the company size from the drop-down menu. Select the industry from the drop-down menu. Submit the form to enter the new client. You can now select this client from the drop-down menu. Make sure the project title is still there. Enter the start date for the project. Enter the end date for the project. Enter the project description. Enter the scope of work. Enter the deliverables for the project. This page will auto-save as you type, therefore there is no save button. Click the Go Back button at the top to see the project you just entered on the project list. If you open the action column, you can access the following actions. 1. Edit the project details. 2. View the project. 3. View the project report, and 4. Archive the project. Let us click on View Project Details. You will be routed to the Project Detailed page. This is where all the project information is stored. You can view 1. The project resources. Note that resources are only visible to managers. 2. The project milestones. 3. Project tasks on the project board. 4. Project meetings. 5. Project documents. 6. Project notes, and 7. Project expenses. Let us get started with adding project resources. Project resources represent the individuals that will be working on the project. Before assigning project resources, the individuals must be added to digital practice as team members and assigned project app access. To add a resource, click here. Select the resource from the list. Enter normal hourly rate. Enter overtime hourly rate. Enter weekend hourly rate. Lastly, enter holiday hourly rate. Save the form. After entering the resources, you will be able to see it here. As this team member books hours to this project, you will also be able to see the booked, approved, and billed hours. Project milestones. Click on the Create a Project Milestone button. You will be routed to a different page where you can create the milestone. Enter the title of the milestone. Enter the due date for the milestone. Enter the milestone description. Save the form. You can now see the milestone on the project timeline. If you click at the 3 buttons at the top of the milestone, you can take some actions with respect to the milestone. You can 1. Complete the milestone. Click here when you have completed the work on the milestone, or 2. Edit the milestone. To add a task to a milestone, click on this button. Enter all the required info about a task. When you are done, click Submit. The new task you have created will now show within that milestone. Let us go to the third tab, Project Task Board. This is where you can see all the active tasks on the project. Before you can enter new tasks, make sure you have at least one milestone. All project tasks have to be associated with a milestone. Click this button to create a new task. Enter the title of the task. Select the milestone from the drop-down menu. Choose the responsible person for the new task. Enter budget hours assigned to the task. Enter the task start date. Enter the task due date. Enter the description of the task. Save the form. The task will be set on the to-do column by default. When you start working on the task, press this button here to move it to the In Progress column. When you have completed the task, press this button here accordingly. Now let us explore project meetings. When you have a meeting with a client, you might want to record the meeting details for future reference, and also for other team members to understand what was discussed. Press this button to add a new meeting. Enter the meeting title. Select if a meeting link should be included or not. If you select Yes, a meeting link will be included on the meeting invitation. Enter the meeting description here. Enter the meeting date. Enter the time the meeting is going to start. Enter the duration of the meeting. Save the meeting. You will now see your meeting on a list. Press this button to view the meeting details. There are a few use cases for meeting details. 1. You can use this page to send out meeting invites to attendees. 2. You can use this page as a place to capture minutes of meeting, action items, and 3. You can immediately email these minutes of meeting to attendees for their records. In addition, the records will always remain here for future reference. Before you can send minutes of meeting, start by adding attendees. Press this button to add a meeting attendee. You can 1. Select an attendee from the employee list, or 2. Add an attendee manually. Enter the first name of the attendee. Enter their last name. Enter their email address. Finally, save the form. Add another attendee. This time I will add myself as the meeting host. You can now send meeting invites to the attendees. Press this button to send out meeting invites. Select your time zone from the drop-down menu. Send the invite. During the meeting, record action items as required. To record an action item, click here. Enter the title of the action. Enter the details here. Enter the responsible person. Enter the due date for the action. Add other meetings as required. These two action buttons at the bottom here allow you to 1. Review minutes of meeting in PDF. 2. Email minutes of meeting to all attendees. To view minutes, click here and a PDF document will open. You can see the meeting details, attendees, and actions. You can print or save this document as required. If you press this button, the same document will be emailed to all attendees. Let us navigate to the Documents tab. You can upload any documents here related to the project. Let us navigate to the Notes tab. You can create any notes here related to the project. If you look at the buttons at the top of the page, 1. Use this button to access the Edit Project page, and 2. Use this button to access the Project List page. Press this button to navigate back to where we started. Project Expenses. This is where you or your team members can add expenses related to this project. To add a new expense, click here. Enter the title of the item. Add the item price each. Enter the quantity. Choose a vendor. This is optional. Upload a supporting document, for example, A receipt. Select expense type. Save the form. The new expense will be listed here. When the line manager approves or rejects the expense, the status will be shown here. As a line manager, click on the action column to edit expense, approve expense, reject expense or delete expense. Click here to go back to the project list.